It was supposed to be another delightful hidden talents segment where kids shared their special abilities, piano playing, magic tricks, impressive soccer skills, maybe some adorable singing. Ellen loved these moments with children, their uninhibited confidence, their pure joy in sharing what made them feel special. But when 11-year-old Zoe Martinez stepped up to the kid's microphone with serious brown eyes and an old-soul gravity that seemed far beyond her years, Ellen had no idea she was about to witness one of the most profound definitions of healing she'd ever encountered. Zoe's answer about her talent would shatter everyone's understanding of what it means to help others and reveal a courage that would leave the entire studio in tears. Zoe stood at the microphone wearing a bright yellow hoodie that was slightly too big for her small frame, her dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. But it wasn't her appearance that caught Ellen's attention. It was something in her posture, a quiet strength that seemed to radiate from within. Behind her gentle smile was a maturity that spoke of experiences no 11-year-old should have had to face, yet somehow had transformed into wisdom rather than bitterness. "Hi there, beautiful." Ellen approached Zoe with her signature warmth, immediately sensing something special about this child. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Zoe Martinez," she replied, her voice soft but clear. "I'm 11 years old, and I'm from Phoenix." "Zoe Martinez from Phoenix. I love that. So Zoe, this is our hidden talents segment where kids get to share their special abilities. What's your hidden talent?" Ellen expected the usual childhood responses. Maybe Zoe could do cartwheels or had memorized all the state capitals. She was prepared to celebrate whatever innocent skill this sweet girl wanted to showcase. Zoe looked directly into Ellen's eyes with an intensity that was both beautiful and heartbreaking. When she spoke, her words carried a weight that seemed impossible for someone so young. "I heal sick kids," Zoe said simply, as if she was announcing she could ride a bike or do math problems. Ellen's smile faltered slightly as her brain processed this unexpected response. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. What did you say?" "I heal sick kids," Zoe repeated with the same matter-of-fact tone. "When kids are really sick and scared, I make them feel better." Ellen knelt down to Zoe's eye level, sensing that this conversation required careful attention. "Zoe, can you tell me more about that? How do you heal sick kids?" Zoe's face lit up with genuine enthusiasm. "Well, when kids are in the hospital and they're crying or scared, I visit them and tell them stories. I play games with them, draw pictures, sing songs, and then they smile, and smiling makes people heal faster." Ellen felt her heart begin to melt. This wasn't quite what she'd expected, but it was beautiful in its own way. "Oh, that's wonderful, Zoe. So you're like a volunteer at the hospital?" "Kind of," Zoe said, but something in her expression shifted slightly. "I spend a lot of time at Children's Hospital Phoenix. I know all the nurses, and I know which kids need extra hugs." Ellen smiled warmly. "That's incredible, Zoe. You must make so many children happy. How did you start doing this?" Zoe paused, and Ellen could see her choosing her words carefully. "Well, I learned what it's like to be a sick kid first, so I know exactly what makes them feel better." Something in Zoe's tone made Ellen's smile fade slightly. "What do you mean you learned what it's like to be a sick kid?" Zoe looked out at the audience, then back at Ellen. When she spoke, her words hit the studio like a gentle but devastating truth. "I have cancer, Ellen, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I was diagnosed when I was 8. The silence that followed was profound. Ellen felt like the air had been knocked out of her lungs. This beautiful, vibrant child who had been talking about healing others was herself fighting the biggest battle of her life. "Oh, Zoe," Ellen whispered, her eyes immediately filling with tears. "You have cancer?" Zoe nodded matter-of-factly. "I'm in treatment right now. That's why I wear this hoodie a lot. Sometimes the medicine makes me cold and sometimes it makes my hair fall out, but I'm doing really good now." Ellen was struggling to maintain her composure. Here was an 11-year-old discussing her own cancer diagnosis with more grace and strength than most adults could muster. "Zoe, and you use your experience to help other kids who are going through the same thing?" "Exactly." Zoe's enthusiasm returned. "When new kids come to the cancer ward, they're usually really scared. Their parents are crying and they don't understand what's happening. But I can sit with them and say, 'Hey, I know this is scary, but you're going to be okay, and here's how we can make it less scary.'" Ellen had to pause to wipe her eyes. The audience was completely silent, hanging on every word from this remarkable child. "What kinds of things do you tell them, Zoe?" Well, I tell them that the IV needles don't hurt as much if you squeeze a stuffed animal really tight. I tell them that the chemo medicine tastes yucky, but if you eat a popsicle right after, it helps. I show them that you can make the IV pole into a dance partner if you're feeling good enough. Ellen was crying openly now. Zoe, you're teaching them how to be brave. I'm teaching them how to still be kids, Zoe corrected gently. Cancer tries to make you forget that you're still a kid who likes to play and laugh and have fun. But you can have cancer and still be happy. You can be sick and still help other people feel better. Ellen stood up and addressed the entire studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand what we're witnessing here. Zoe is not just a child with cancer. She's a child with cancer who has chosen to use her experience to heal other children going through the same battle. Ellen returned to Zoe, sitting down on the floor beside her. Zoe, how many kids have you helped? I don't really count, Zoe said thoughtfully. But there are lots of kids who call me their hospital sister now. Some of them have gotten better and gone home, and they still send me pictures and letters. Some of them, Zoe's voice trailed off slightly, some of them went to heaven, but their parents tell me that I helped them be less scared. The impact of Zoe's words was devastating and beautiful simultaneously. Ellen could hear people in the audience crying softly. Zoe, what made you decide to help other kids instead of just focusing on your own treatment? Zoe thought about this seriously. When I first got sick, I was really scared and lonely. Even though my family was there, I felt alone because nobody else understood what it felt like to have cancer when you're just a kid. Ellen nodded, encouraging Zoe to continue. But then I met this girl named Emma, who was 12, and she had the same kind of cancer as me. She wasn't scared anymore because she'd been sick for a while. She taught me games to play during treatment, showed me how to make the nurses laugh, helped me understand that having cancer didn't mean I wasn't still Zoe. Zoe's voice grew stronger as she continued. When Emma got better and went home, I realized I could be that person for other scared kids. I could be their Emma. Ellen was completely overwhelmed by this child's wisdom and compassion. Zoe, what do you want to be when you grow up? A doctor, Zoe said without hesitation. But not just any doctor, a pediatric oncologist. I want to help kids with cancer, but I want to be a doctor who actually understands what it feels like to be the patient too. Ellen made a decision that would define this moment forever. Zoe, you said you help kids at the hospital feel less scared. Would you be willing to help some kids right now? Zoe's eyes lit up. Really? How? Ellen turned to her production team. We're going to call Children's Hospital Phoenix right now. I want to connect with kids who might need to hear from their hospital sister. Within minutes, Ellen's team had connected them to the pediatric oncology ward. Ellen held the phone so both she and Zoe could speak.
Hello, this is Ellen DeGeneres. I'm here with Zoe Martinez, and we'd like to say hi to some of your patients if that's possible.
The nurse on the other end was clearly surprised but quickly arranged for several young patients to join a conference call. Hi everyone, Zoe said into the phone, her voice immediately brightening. It's me, Zoe. I'm on the Ellen Show, and I wanted to say hi to my hospital family. Through the speakers, Ellen could hear excited voices, children calling Zoe's name, telling her they'd been watching the show, sharing updates about their treatments. Zoe, came one small voice. I got to ring the bell yesterday. I finished chemo. Zoe's face exploded with joy. Marcus, oh my gosh, you did it. You beat cancer. I'm so proud of you. Ellen watched in amazement as Zoe spoke to each child individually, remembering details about their treatments, celebrating their victories, offering encouragement for their challenges. And Sarah, Zoe said to another voice, how did your surgery go? Did you bring Mr. Bunny with you like we planned? He was with me the whole time, came the reply. The doctors said he was the bravest bunny they'd ever seen in an operating room. Ellen was witnessing something magical, a child who was fighting her own battle for life simultaneously lifting up other children fighting the same battle. After speaking with each child, Zoe addressed all of them together. You guys, I want you to meet Ellen. She's been asking me about how we help each other, and I told her that we're not just sick kids, we're superheroes, learning how to use our powers. Ellen leaned toward the phone. Hi everyone, Zoe has been telling me about what incredible kids you all are. She says you're some of the bravest people she's ever met. We learned it from Zoe, one child called out. She taught us how to be brave scared instead of just scared. Ellen looked at Zoe questioningly. What's brave scared? It's when you're scared, but you do something anyway, because it might help someone else, Zoe explained. Like I'm scared of needles, but I get my blood drawn anyway, because it helps the doctors help me. That's brave scared. The children on the phone began sharing their own examples of brave, scared moments, singing during chemo even when they felt sick, comforting new patients even when they were worried about their own treatments, smiling for their parents even when everything hurt. Ellen realized she was witnessing something unprecedented, a support network of children helping each other through the most difficult experience imaginable, led by an 11-year-old who had transformed her own suffering into a source of strength for others. "Zoe," Ellen said after they ended the call, "I need to tell you something. You said your hidden talent is healing sick kids, and you're absolutely right, but I think you're healing more than just the kids in that hospital." "What do you mean?" Ellen addressed both Zoe and the audience. "Zoe, you're healing everyone who meets you. You're showing us what courage really looks like. You're proving that even when life gives us the hardest challenges imaginable, we can choose to use those challenges to help other people." Ellen stood up and walked to center stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this show for years, and I've met incredible people. But Zoe Martinez has just redefined what I thought I knew about strength, about healing, about what it means to make a difference in the world." Ellen returned to Zoe and knelt down beside her. "Zoe, I want to do something for you and your hospital family. I want to help you heal even more kids." "How?" Ellen looked directly into the camera. "We're going to create the Zoe Martinez Healing Fund. We're going to make sure that every child fighting cancer has access to the kind of joy, support, and hope that Zoe provides. We're going to fund music therapy, art therapy, play therapy, and most importantly, peer support programs where kids like Zoe can help other kids find their brave." Zoe's eyes filled with tears for the first time during the entire segment. "Really? We can help even more kids?" "We can help thousands of kids, Zoe, because you've shown us that healing doesn't always come from medicine. Sometimes it comes from an 11-year-old girl who refuses to let cancer stop her from spreading joy." As the segment concluded and Ellen hugged Zoe, a long, genuine embrace that spoke to the profound impact this child had made, the audience rose and sustained applause. But more than that, Ellen could see people wiping their eyes, reaching for their phones to make donations, inspired by a little girl who had turned her greatest challenge into her greatest gift. 3 months after the episode aired, the Zoe Martinez Healing Fund had raised over $2 million for pediatric cancer support programs. But more importantly, Zoe's story had inspired the creation of peer mentorship programs in children's hospitals across the country, where young patients helped other young patients navigate their treatments with courage and hope. Zoe continued her own treatment with the same grace and strength she'd always shown, and she continued visiting other children, teaching them that brave scared was a superpower they all possessed. Her weekly visits to the hospital became legendary among the staff, who would often find her in the playroom, surrounded by children who hung on her every word, learning from someone who truly understood their journey. The hospital's child life specialist began documenting Zoe's interactions, studying how peer support from someone with lived experience could enhance traditional therapeutic approaches. They discovered that children who spent time with Zoe showed measurably improved emotional resilience, better treatment compliance, and faster adaptation to their diagnosis. Ellen featured Zoe in follow-up segments documenting her journey and the impact of the fund that bore her name. But perhaps the most meaningful moment came when Zoe, now in remission, rang the bell to celebrate completing her treatment. Ellen was there, along with dozens of children Zoe had helped along the way. "Zoe," Ellen said as they celebrated, "you told me your hidden talent was healing sick kids. But I think your real talent is teaching all of us how to find light in the darkness, how to transform pain into purpose, how to be brave when brave feels impossible." Zoe, now 12 and cancer-free but still mentoring other children, smiled with the wisdom that had first caught Ellen's attention. "Ellen, I learned that the best way to heal yourself is to help heal someone else. Cancer tried to make me small, but helping other kids made me bigger than cancer could ever be." Because sometimes an 11-year-old's definition of healing can change everything, can redefine what it means to be strong, what it means to be helpful, what it means to transform the worst thing that's ever happened to you into the best thing you can offer to the world. Zoe proved that healing isn't just about getting better, it's about getting better together. And sometimes the most powerful medicine isn't what goes into your body, but what comes out of your heart when you choose to love others through their darkest moments.